Hello and welcome to A Spirited Debate. I'm Lauren Green. The state of Dakota has the distinction of being the only state in the union without a full-time rabbi. Well, that's about to change. The state that's home to Mount Rushmore and the Black Hills will get its first full-time rabbi in several years. Rabbi Mendel Alperowitz and his wife Musi will travel from Brooklyn, New York to Sioux Falls, South Dakota to open a Shabbat house to offer religious education, worship services, and other programs. And they both join me right now. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you,
I'll tell you, this has got to be a culture shock going from Brooklyn, New York to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I mean, how did this come about?
Well, what actually happened is, over the years, Chabad, which we're part of Chabad, has been sending rabbis to visit South Dakota and really all other states and communities around the country and around the world where there's smaller populations of Jewish communities where there isn't a full-time rabbi or really a major establishment. So there's been student rabbis going there for decades already, and we went for a recent festival to work with the local community and to meet some people there. And we came to town, we held a little event, and people were just coming up to us and saying, you know, you've got to move here. You really got to move here. We need something here.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was just so special to us to meet these people, really wonderful people. And I was there with my wife, and it was just great.
You know, it's interesting because it's a very small Jewish population. Some estimates say that 400, maybe 1,000, but it's very spread out. I mean, I'm from Minnesota. I kind of know that South Dakota is very flat, very spread out. How will you serve so many people?
Well, we won't be the traditional pulpit rabbi or congregational rabbi that most people have in mind. We will be based in Sioux Falls, which is the largest city in the state. And at the same time, we will be traveling around to really to meet people at their homes all across the great state of South Dakota, across all the different cities in Rapid City, Aberdeen, Brookings, and we'll be meeting them at home, having conversations with them, building on our relationships with them, and making friends with them, and just doing Jewish things together.
You know, Lucy, you've got two small children. This has got to be wild for you. I mean, what are your thoughts about going to South Dakota?
Honestly, it's something we always wanted to do. Moving to South Dakota is actually exciting for me. When we visited the place, we really fell in love with the community. We really enjoyed our time there. This way of life is very common for myself, my friends, my family. I have a friend living in Ningbo, China.
Wow.
This is a piece of cake compared to that. So it's really just exciting.
You know, you're going to open a Shabbat Lubavitch house, and a lot of people don't know what that is. What is that tradition?
Well, it's interesting, and I'll explain it like this. The Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, when he arrived to America 75 years ago, he set out to really reach every single Jew wherever possible and bring them, you know, the Jewish values and Jewish traditions in a really welcoming way. And he would send out his best students to go all around the world and meet them and work with them and spend time with them and really do Jewish things. And he was the leader of the Chabad movement. When he came to America, obviously he was so grateful to this country, and he settled in New York and to this great city for really providing him the opportunity to grow and expand his movement and really reach so many people across the world and turn his movement into a real global force for good.
One of the things that's got to be a challenge to you, because you know you're Orthodox, and I think the majority of the Jews in South Dakota are actually Reform. Explain the difference, and then how that's going to be maybe a bit of a challenge for you.
Right. Well, we actually see that as a great opportunity rather than a challenge, because rather than putting up artificial divisions between us, we view each Jew as a Jew. No Jew is less Jewish than Moses or Abraham, and you know, just like us, we're welcoming to everybody, and we're really looking forward to building on our relationships with them and really having a good time with them.
And Lucy, are you going to raise your children in South Dakota? I mean, is this part of what you're looking forward to, or is it just sort of a temporary thing? You're going to come back to New York? Or?
No, this is something we're committed to. We're going to settle there. My girls are going to be proud to live there. We'll make friends there. We'll learn the place, and we'll settle, and we'll have a good time, and we'll be proud to live there.
And are you hoping to grow the Jewish community in South Dakota?
Well, we're sure that that may happen, you know, as we go along. Each time I've been there, and I've been there a number of times, I've always met more and more people, more Jews that other Jews in town did not know about. So it's really been encouraging to us, and we're very optimistic that the Jewish community will grow. But even if it doesn't, and the size that it is now, we realize the unique potential in each individual. And sometimes when you're in like the big cities like New York or LA, it's much easier to overlook someone sometimes, but when you're out there in a place like South Dakota, Sioux Falls, you really see the value of each individual, the unique potential that each individual has, and you really get a better understanding into the saying that every person is an entire world.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I want to thank you very much, Rabbi Alpowitz. And Moshe Alpowitz, thank you very much for being here in the Spirited Debate.
Thank you so much, Lauren. It's been great.
And good luck in South Dakota, by the way.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you for watching.